Hi and welcome back. I usually try to do my videos on Tuesday, but we had the first cool day in a long time, so I was out doing yard work and getting some of my jungle tamed. And I had some help yesterday from my daughter, so it was a good day to get all that done. I worked on 3 projects this past week. I've been trying to focus on the Queen of Hearts because I do want to get her done for December. And I've also worked on the 3 Wise Men, and I worked on my Hade a little bit, trying to decide how I want to move forward with it. I also worked on one of my dolls for the exhibit that I showed last week, because I had a little bit of a cat catastrophe. One of the cats knocked her down, and I had to rebuild the tortoise, and then I sculpted another piece, and I went ahead and finished the bottom. So I'll show you that too. It's been a pretty busy week, and when I sculpted the seahorse, I remembered how much I really love working with polymer clay, so I got a little sidetracked with that too. All in all, though, it was very good. So let me move along with my project status. So I didn't touch Somebody to Love It All. She just kind of went by the wayside this past week, although I will get back to her. All I have left is some back stitching. But the Queen of Hearts with Jim Shore, this is what, let me try to get some of the glare off. This is what she will look like when she's finished. And it was Lauren Campbell I saw doing the Jack of Clubs, and she's the one that kind of got me inspired to go look for this Queen of Hearts for my sister-in-law. And I didn't take pictures after the last video, so I have no where I was type thing, but I had been working around the border from at the top. I was in like at the top half, and now I don't think I can get this in there all the way. I have the whole card laid out somewhat. I haven't completed this bottom border connection yet. There's like another row or so down here, and I still have to fill in the beige, and the lighter beige I have to go back and get all the way around, but it's looking really good. And like I said, that's a lot of beige. You probably can't even see most of it on the beige fabric, but I think she's going to be really pretty when she's finished. So that's where I stand with the Queen of Hearts. And then for the 3 Wise Men, this one I'm really loving. That oatmeal fiddler's cloth is really pretty, and it's nice to work with. So that's what they'll look like when they're finished. I did them on, like I said, fiddler's cloth. I did not use dark fabric. And this is what they look like. And the last time I had just, it's upside down, sorry. Last time I had just started some of the cornflower blue in that turban. I had the faces filled in. Well, I got the turban in a little bit more, and you can see that the 3rd Wise Man has that pretty green color in his turban. And I think it goes down into his robes too. And there's a little bit of it here. And today I think is stitching in yellow day, and I joined that, and I think what I'm going to do is stitch in some of the golden yellow colors in this piece. I haven't had a chance to start yet because although school has not started here in New York and doesn't start until after Labor Day, the last state holdouts I think for Labor Day, my granddaughter has started volleyball practice, so I knew I had to go pick her up, and I had some other housekeeping things to take care of, so I was busy with that. So I haven't stitched yet, but I will. I'm going to show you my Hade and what it looks like, but first I'll show you a picture. And the picture I have is here in my binder, And you can see in the garden shed is a picture inside a garden shed with a lot of cats. And there's all kinds of things. And right now, the piece I'm on is in the upper corner, and I'm doing a lot of background, but there's like a watering can or something up here. That is where I'm stitching currently. And let's see, this picture has, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cats. And we have 6. So it's kind of almost a perfect picture. And this pattern started with kind of a ton of confetti. So these are the colors that I've used so far. And I made my own little thing by folding some just notebook paper and punching holes with a hole punch and putting the numbers in and the symbols. So my extra thread is just going on here, and the bobbins just go back in the box. And this is the box for my Heaven and Earth design in the garden shed. And all those colors that are on that card, let me move the pattern, because I keep that clipped onto this piece, right onto the fabric with these magnetic strips. And that's page 1. And I moved my Hade off the scroll frame onto a 17 by 17 Q-snap, and I have the grind guard I made over here, and all of the extra fabric is kind of rolled up along this edge. And I also put some fleece under the clamps just to kind of give it extra tension. And that's the needle minder I'm using on this, and I made that one myself. And last week I said that I was going to do this in 2/2 tenth stitch. And as most of you probably know, that doesn't really work very well as far as coverage goes. So I spent a lot of time going back and doing it in full crosses and get the fleece out of the way. And that's what that corner looks like so far. And you can't really see this, but this first line is a whole bunch of the very pastel colors. I don't know if that's window edging or, you know, light. That's where I stand with my Hade. Pretty slow going, but I like it, and I will stick with it. And it's fun. And I'm just covering it with a pillowcase. And I'm not putting it around that Q-snap because the Q-snap's too wide, really, to fit comfortably in the pillowcase. I have been looking at some of my books and magazines, and I've gone back and I've looked. As I watch all of your Floss Tube videos, I see all kinds of patterns and magazines and books and things that I'd like to do. And I did check out the Lakeside Stitch Along, is it Magical Creatures? And I joined the Facebook group, but I'm thinking I'm going to pass on it because from what my understanding is there's a lot of confetti. And I think a lot of my projects right now are heavy with confetti, and I just don't need another project right now like that. But I did want to show, this is the magazine that my 3 Wise Men pattern is in, and this is cross stitch and needlework from June of 1997. And I have to say, I have quite a few older magazines, and they have some really cool things in them even from back then. Like that almost looks like a chatelaine, except it doesn't have the complexity of the center motif. And these are some of the patriotic pieces in this magazine that I think are just beautiful. So with all the, and this is just a couple of pages at random out of a single magazine. It's really amazing how many things I already have that I could stitch. And don't get me wrong, I have an order coming from 123 Stitch for a Biscornu pattern and a Satsuma Street pattern for Pretty Little New York. So I'm not stopping, I'm just saying I've got a ton of patterns. And let's see, I'll show you this. This is my Ort container. It's not a jar. It's a single piece of 12 by 12 scrapbook paper that I folded over, and I used some hot glue to attach some lace. And so in here, when I'm working on a project, I can just slide my scissors under the flap, and I keep this right next to me. So when I need to trim threads, I have my scissors and my thread castings right in there. Okay, and I'm back. Sorry about that. My battery died again. That teaches me I forgot that I'd made another video and had used some of the battery the other day. So I was showing you my Ort container, my old ratty thread container, and I really like this. You know, I made a few of these, and this comes in really handy for my thread scraps. And one thing that this was from years ago, people used to say that you could take your threads and you hang them out on tree branches, and then little birds can actually build them into their nests, and they make soft padding for the baby birds. And I mean, it's cotton threads, so, or even silks. They just rot and go back into the earth. So I always thought that was kind of a nice idea. Plus it makes the nest pretty and decorated. And let's see. So I'll move on to, I don't have much of stash acquisitions to show. I did go to Hobby Lobby, just, you know, a glancing thing, and I bought this bicycle charm because I thought it would make a really cute needle minder. So I'm going to make a needle minder out of this. I guess it's really a necklace pendant, but I'm going to make it into a needle minder. And then I just bought some eye pins because I can never have enough eye pins. And I also bought, I don't know if I showed this, I don't think I did. I bought this Cross Stitch Crazy magazine, and that's one of the reasons I made a special trip out to get this magazine, because I can't remember who, but they showed the 50 baking gift ideas, and it has this pretty little like kitchen tag things, cakes and recipe book covers and box tags. But it has let me see if I can find it, all measuring spoons and measuring cups. But it has, if I could find it, would be a good thing just to show a picture. Oh, yep, the recipes. It has the KitchenAid blender, and I have an apple green KitchenAid blender, so I'm thinking of doing some of these in more my colors and putting them maybe in a frame in my kitchen, which I think I would really like. So I think that's in my near future. And I also wanted to take the time, this isn't stash acquisition, this is my old stash. This is Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine from November, December 1994. And it has a Madonna and Child in a circular frame on the cover. And on the back, it has a bunch of it says, these wonderful cross-stitch angel designs by Marilyn Levitt Emblem are sure to be treasured heirlooms. And if you look, it's the Peace Angel and a bunch of other angels. So back in 1994, the angels were in an ad on the back of Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine. It's always kind of fun to see these things. And I have been going through a lot of my magazines just looking for things that I might want to do from them. And there is this cardinal sampler, which I think is beautiful. You see the two cardinals down at the bottom. I think that is gorgeous. It doesn't look like it's too big, but there's cute pet stockings, and then there's a one from the cover. And this is actually the magazine that has the series in it that are the individual pieces for the Nativity. And I've always wanted to do these, to make my own standing cross-stitch Nativity. I think that would be beautiful. And I'm getting to the part that I wanted to really show. And it talks about handmade greetings, and it's showing how to marbleize paper. There's an article on handmade greetings, and then it gives you step by step. It gives you the pattern for like a tree opening in a card. And then it goes on to actually show you the steps to marbleizing paper for the card. And I have to say, this is one of my favorite magazine titles. Cross Stitch and Country Crafts was something a magazine I could always turn to and find a lot of information and to find things that I really thought were beautiful to stitch. And there's another sampler that I think is beautiful, and I'd like to stitch this one too. Quaint owl sampler. I think that is so cute. I have a bunch of these magazines that have teddy bear designs in them that I'd like to cross stitch also. So I just thought I would share that magazine with you. It's one of my favorite ones. And let's see. Oh, I think that's about all of the works in process I need to show. And that's pretty much my whole purchase old stash review. I know I'm rushing through this. I'm sorry. I just have so many things to get to today. And I still want to stitch. But remember, this is Sea Goddess that I showed in my video the last time. And the fish is still there from the original work. But that's the seahorse that I sculpted to go along with the fish on Sea Goddess. And then I had to redo the tortoise. So here's my new tortoise, also swimming at the bottom. The cats had done a number on the old one, so needed to redo him. I really love the seahorse. I think the seahorse came out really good. And I'm going to do a process video on how to make this seahorse on my other craft channel, Kelly Bell. So something to check out. Oh, and I did finish the bottom. So I added some foam instead of felt, and I put the glass beads on the bottom for feet. I signed it, and the name of the piece is on there. So she is all ready to ship to go to the exhibit. So I had a good time. I guess it was a good thing that the cats knocked it over and the tortoise broke. Got me to rework it, and I think it even looks better. So I think that that's about all for me. Although I did do one other thing. Hold on just a second and I'll show you. I was looking at the designer Q-snap clamps that are for sale, and I actually played around and I made my own decorative Q-snap clamps. So I think they came out pretty cute, and you know, that's the whole clamp let go. They were easy. So that was a good time. So now I have my own colorful clamps. And with that, it's a gorgeous day again. I still have some more trimming to do. Outside work is never done in the summer. Can't wait for fall. It's my favorite time of year. Although I dread winter. But I guess it all comes with the territory. Oh, I do have a funny thing to relate. We were coming home yesterday after going to get my youngest granddaughter a new cell phone. And we're driving up my road, and a goat runs across the street and goes up the hill onto my property. So we stopped, and we were trying to figure out whose goat that was because I don't have goats. But I do live near the auction barn, a livestock auction barn. So I had my daughter drive around and ask them if a goat had gotten away, because Tuesday nights is auction night, and that's when cattle and horses and all kinds of livestock go to auction. And she stopped in the office and found out from the woman working there that a goat has been loose for about 2 weeks. And my property adjoins the livestock auction barn property. So this goat has been running around for 2 weeks on my land, and yesterday was the first time I'd seen it. And my granddaughter says, I want to get a rope and go up and look for this goat. She says, but if I catch it, can I keep it? I told her we'd think about it. So anyway, we might have a goat chase going on later. You never know. You never know what is going to happen here. It's always a surprise. So thank you for joining me. I hope that you're having a colorful and stitchy time. And until next time, take care and God bless.